not just the play itself, but in a letter that was passed on to me by our director at the beginning of our run, written by Steinbeck to Claire Luce, the actress who originated the role on stage. In the letter, Steinbeck sheds light on what is behind this character without a name, writing that she was told over and over that she must remain a virgin because that was the only way she could get a husband. She only had that one thing to sell, and she knew it. He goes on, she is a nice, kind girl and not a floozy. No man has ever considered her as anything except a girl to try to make. As to her actual sex life, she has had none except with Curly, and there has probably been no consummation, since Curly would not consider her gratification and would probably be suspicious if she had it. I can barely read the letter now without tearing up at the thought of this imaginary woman, what she stands for, and what she loses. It's only become clear to me during my time with Curly's wife exactly how subversive Steinbeck's work is and how he must have intended it. I'm going to ask you guys to look over those two paragraphs and find a passage and respond to it. Um, Leona, what's something that stood out to you?
I said that like the review, I just rewrote it in that one word.
Okay. Um, what did you think about it?
I kind of like I think it's really true that like a lot of people would think that way, and like they would think like if Curly's wife's character was dressing like more revealing and stuff, then people would assume like oh she deserved like what happened to her.
Yeah. Um, that's crazy but true, right? Yeah, I agree. Um, Jasmine, how about you? Something that stood out to you?
It's just like I was saying, just how like Steinbeck made her character, how she's seen as an object and not as a person, and everyone thinks that like things all about her sex life and stuff.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't have a name, first of all, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, she's objectified. And then he said that she's told over and over, probably by her mother, right, that she has to remain a virgin because the only way that she can have anything in life is to get a husband. And we kind of get hints of this when she's talking to Lenny, and she says that her mother hid the letter. She thinks her mother hid the letter that some movie producer probably wrote to her after he promised to put her in pictures. Um, and then I don't know, I mentioned this time, but this is from that letter where it says that she's had no sex life except with Curly, and there's probably been no consummation, meaning that it didn't actually happen, because Curly would consider her happiness proof of infidelity and suspicion. That's very weird. Steinbeck's thought a lot about that she might be cheating on him. So Curly's such an inconsiderate, insensitive narcissist that if she enjoyed herself in any way, he would call her a cheater and look down on her. One more person, Jasmine, help. Give me something that stood out to you. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
think like how society is portrayed in the book at that time shows how society portrayed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Steinbeck didn't steer away from that, right? None of the men wanted anything to do with her. Yeah. All right, next passage. There's only one paragraph here. If this woman is purely a victim, why is she so hated? And if she is truly harmless, why is she so threatening? Without question, it was a commentary on the social climate at the time, which still surprisingly applies today. But if sexism is one of the featured themes, why not say it? Crooks, a character who was forced to live in the barn and away from the other men, says it's because I'm black. They play cards in there, but I can't play because I'm black. As clear as day, the color of his skin is the reason for segregation. A modern audience cringes and immediately identifies. Such an explanation is never given as to why Curly's wife is shunned.
I feel like this explanation is kind of my misogyny. That's literally why she's that's the whole thing of her. Like he mentioned she's the one that understands everything that she's talking about sexual things as well. So not only that, the problem with Brooks was society, how society portrayed it. And the problem with her is how society portrays her as well.
Yeah.
But it's not really mentioned like in depth with Brooks.
And I would argue that Crooks is more respected than she is. Yeah, and then when he plays horseshoes and they enjoy his company out there, but the institutional racism of the time, stopped them from going into each other's place. But just like you said, pure misogyny stops her from entering and having discussions with people as well. What do you think, Malik? What do you think? Are you listening to music? Are you listening to music? Take your headphones off. Be part of the discussion. Pianist? Does that say pianist? I'm blind. Tell me what that says.
It says pianist.
Pianist, right? Is somebody in here a pianist, a piano player?
Pianist. Like a pianist?
Yeah. Is that you?
No.
Mari, give me something that stood out to you in that section.
Well, I said what we talked about on the last part that society portrayed her as a bad person and she can't enjoy herself because like personal things that she's thinking about doing to the top. So everyone thinks of things like bad, and if she's like I said at the beginning, why she's so hated, if you treat her with a victim, people think that she's really threatening, but in reality she's harmless. But people still think that she's a bad person.
Yeah, and I mean that. And the more interesting question is to me is why doesn't Steinbeck tell us why she's hated? We know Candy's flaws, right? He's disabled, he's old and in the way. We know why people don't like Lenny or distrust or whatever his problem is, mental disability. Crooks because of racism. Why is she the only character that he can say this about? Okay, next section. From an outside perspective, one might see her desperate attempts to make a connection to these men as innocent. There ain't no women. I can't walk to town. I tell you, I just want to talk to somebody. Yet somehow, invariably, a large portion of the audience seems to agree with George. They want her to leave so she doesn't cause any trouble. I understand because watching Chris O'Dowd, Jim Norton, and James Franco make their plans for a utopian ranch, those are the people that play the characters. I want them to have that dream too. But why is Curly's wife presence so disturbing? And why does the audience agree? It's the subconscious and inflammatory nature of Steinbeck's writing that makes the viewer join in on the bashing of this woman, punish her existence, snicker at her mishaps. The genius and relevancy behind Steinbeck's mission in writing this piece is that, to this day, it forces you to see yourself, to expose the depths of your own intolerance, prejudice, cruelty, and naivety. Literally, Curly's wife is compared to an animal in an effort to reduce and humiliate her. She is mockingly referred to as a Lulu, the same name for Slim's dog, described as a bitch who just slang 9 pups. She'd be better off dead, is the opinion of Candy's old dog, and that attitude is undoubtedly mirrored towards the lone woman. But when the dog gets led off to be shot, protests can be heard from the audience. And as a dog lover, I have the same feeling. Complaints can rarely be heard during Curly's wife's death. Okay, find one passage, please, from those 2 paragraphs. Okay, Sensei Big Boy, what's something that stood out to you? Um, uh, like, yeah, that's crazy, huh? And most people wouldn't get that on the first read. But he used to say exact same terms, Lulu, to refer to both Curly's wife and Slim's daughter, Slim's punch. Harjah, what stood out to you? Yeah, and she's lying dead on the ground and spits up when she's already dead. Yeah,
Then he portrays as like alien, like literally put I even talked to him. I feel like they still didn't treat her with right amount of respect. Her own husband didn't treat her with the right respect after she died. Like he put it on her, but when Candy did, but everyone else was doing just almost the same. Which was he had more kind of more moral. He was more moral towards her than anyone else in that situation.
talking about Lenny.
Yeah, because that's the only thing he had to anymore. Like he thought it was size.
Yeah, you're right. The irony is that he's
Genuinely like when she was in the when they were in the house, they were in the house and they were saying that she was pretty and stuff. It was all innocence. It wasn't around her sexually. George could realize that because I'm obviously.
yeah. It's interesting how she opens up to Lenny, and Crooks does the same thing. Crooks talks about his family and his father growing up in California. Yeah,
I kind of wanted to add on to the idea that they're basically like comparing Curly's wife to like an animal, which is like dehumanizing towards her. And I feel like the audience sided with like George and like the other men's comments more because like they got so influenced by that and like following along with the story that they didn't even notice that she was like getting into an animal.
yeah. And it's always mentioned that she has little sausage curls for hair. What is it? Am I reading? Is there a symbol there? Am I reading too much into that? I don't know. But she says about her husband Curly, she says more than once. Once she says he's not a good guy, and the other time says Curly ain't a nice fella. And that's all she says. But do you guys think that Curly probably hits her?
No, for sure.
For sure, probably, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, like you see in the movie, like it's not in the book, but the movie shows like George and Curly's wife is like in Jordan's like waiting for Carly so you can carry a horse or something there. Carly comes in and like, you should go back to the house, and Carly's like, you don't own me.
Yeah.
Or she's staying up for herself, but Sylvie's just like, just go back to the house. Right, telling her to go back.
Or like just like
Tomorrow. Friday, Thursday.
Like, also, kind of concerned with another one, like, he was concerned about this, but like, this put together, it's just like, seriously, like, okay, for the next year, it's not like, I'm sure everyone else, like, I was like, I never knew that, a man, that's just, like,
You're talking about the same scenes?
I think so, but they're in the next house, the house.
The barn. Because that scene's not in the book.
Yeah,
It's not the book, like, she, like, when she was, when Carly was talking to her, like, go back to the house and stuff, she didn't put on the fire, because, you know, how she was the rest of them.
And you notice that Curly and his wife are not in the book together until she's dead. Like they don't talk to each other at all in the book, or even have it the same scene, which is interesting. Okay, let's finish this off. The final eerie moment of her life is often accompanied by the uproar of laughter. She is violently shaken, rendered lifeless. It doesn't seem to get less painful for me, less terrifying, less tragic with time. Yet our unusually young audience seems unfazed, if not amused by the savage act. Perhaps it's the only response that comforts them in an awkward or tense moment. Curly's wife's dead body lies still on the floor as Candy spits at her. You goddamn tramp, you done it, didn't you? Everybody said you messed things up. You just wasn't no good. And again the audience cracks up. This isn't to say that there aren't viewers undisturbed by the sight of the broken woman, and the lengthy scene that follows her death wherein she lies lifeless and untouched center stage. Throughout this run, I've come to recognize these common reactions and eventually understand them without resentment. Yet somehow, at each time I enter the stage, as I'm faced with the audience who laughs or sneers, I'm struck with the loneliness that I can only imagine a woman like Curly's wife must feel. The desperation for conversation, respect, and above all, dignity. Each time I'm caught off guard.
I think that the audience is more not so focused on like Carly's wife's virgin, how she feels really how everybody makes it this basically has me and she ruined it. So that's probably why like the famous it's like we not make that's why when people teach about her so negatively because everybody feels as though it's her fault because it's conflict, but it's still not bad right just that relationship.
Yeah, I don't think it's her fault. But it is interesting if you, I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but if you were to do some psychological experiment, if everybody in a room vocally disliked one person and somebody was just sitting there watching, would you dislike that person naturally too? Anybody else? Essay. Bless us with some wisdom. Say something profound, please. Something that stood out to you.
Actually, yeah, mostly a question, but I guess Cameron can answer it because it's been a while since he's spoken to Brandon. But obviously, Victoria's wife is a victim of us using that for a lot of people in society, mostly. After she thinks that her mother's told all the liars, I just want to know why she jumped up and then chose Curly out of all people. Like, she gets up, she goes to the hall with Curly, and then chooses him. Like, I mean, it probably wouldn't be hard to see that he's a terrible person. She might not have much choice in the matter, but Curly, like, not anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like she could have stopped or, you know, avoided a lot of suffering by just realizing this one guy sucks and she can try someone else out.
That's true.
But it's also kind of goes to she was raised and talked about how like her mom was saying it's been needs to be very
pretty sure it's not forcing society. A society who respects it, respects how to have a mystery, have something, obviously, we have a lot of status, understand, so I'm pretty sure that's what she had was no choice.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that it was, impulsive. She had to get away, right? Um, so the main idea of this article is that this woman is arguing that it is Steinbeck's intention for us to reevaluate our dislike and hatred for Curly's wife um, just because we have this reaction. Um, so I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I think it's a well-argued piece. All right, before you turn it in, this is where you're going to get your points for this. I'm going to ask you to write a paragraph reflection. It says, write a well-developed paragraph explaining why Curly's wife is or is not a tart. Make your position clear at the beginning of the paragraph. Use evidence from the book or this article to support your claim. So your paragraph, I don't know, 200 words, maybe 150 words. Yeah. Use this article or the book itself, and then submit it when you're finished. I'm going to put on the film in about 10 minutes.
I'm done with the assignment. Can I just stop real quick?
Yeah. Huh? I'm giving you time in class to do it. If you need extra time, I can give you extra time. I'm just gonna, if it's late, I'm not gonna mark points off for being late. Preferably right underneath, but if it's not working for you, then yeah, you can do it on a different document.
I'm just saying, it was like, they call her a smart, but they go out with other.
They're hypocrites, yeah.
When did the book take place?
During the Great Depression, so early 30s.
Okay.
The same place she died. Hey, as you guys are typing, I'm gonna put on the film. Is that okay? So we finish this today?
I knew it ain't clear. When he was boys, he raised him up. He just come along with it. I used to play jokes on it. Damn done. One day, a bunch of guys came around on the Sacramento River, turns down and said, and he done. Couldn't swim stroke. Yeah, I'm gonna drown before we could get there. It's so damn nice. Now you think we gotta go to jump in. I struggle. I don't need no sense of being stuff. Gets in trouble. Just got done. You have nothing to read. What is it? Just tweeted it. Most touch and reach out to touch the areas. So many. And the irrigation ditch until it was safe to get away. Didn't hurt the girl. Just scared. I can tell me God, Bob.
Back to work.
Smoke for a drink of water.
You get back to work.
Hey, I told you not to bring that pup in here. I ain't that. You boys see my wife? She ain't been here. What's the bar?
Boss, you think he's gonna find something in the bar with his wife?
Better not dangle the sweat.
We're finally gonna see this. Come on, George.
I'll stay here, thanks.
Oh,
Bring his wife to the bar.
she what? I didn't see it.
What?
Oh, did she? Oh, did she?
I don't know. It's just the way they make it. You sure you didn't come in the barn? Did you come in here?
Not she that.
Give me a good whorehouse every time. Guy can go in, get drunk, get it all out of his system all at once, no messing.
How long are they gonna be in this little place that developed a fatted land?
Gotta get some money together first. No good place where you can get cheap, but they ain't giving it away.
Tell about that place.
It's 10 acres. Got a windmill, got a little shack on it. Shit.
Like rabbits.
Yeah, I could easily build a few hutches and you could feed them alfalfa.
You damn right. You goddamn right. Do it with that house.
Well, we have a little house and we have a room to ourselves. And we have a little Saturday stove in the winter we keep fire.
Like rabbits do it. But I am on tenure. How do I see that?
Then you go out to the alfalfa field, you have a sack. You fill out that sack and you bring it in. You put it you have a few pigeons flying around the windmill like they done when I was a kid. Be our home. We don't like a guy. We just go out. Say, why don't you spend the night? By God, you would. And a dog, a couple of cats, but you got to make sure them cats don't get their rabbits. suppose I do. What's the deal? Pretty much they're like $600. Most people know it's if on the way, pretty much good for only one. That's why they give me a job. And they give me $200. That's the most of my and I've got 50 more savings. More coming at the end. That'd be $350. I'm gonna tell you something like oh, that'd be. I got to think about that. He's always gonna do it by ourselves. Can you do it by yourself? Wait a minute. I make a will and leave my share to you guys in case I take off. I'm spending money. That's doing right now. You see what they done? You see what they put on them? I'll get somebody. They can. Me and Lenny work a month, we don't spend enough. Have on it months. And it gotta be 50. Yeah, you can add up to 7. Before 10. This grant, that we could get it for that. And then you and me go get her started and I'll get a job, and make up the rest. Sure. You know what we'll do? We'll write those 2 people that will take it. And Candy will send $100 to hold it. I sure will. And I'll have $34 to yeah. If I'm going to garden, even if I don't do that. Like a nice girl here. But yeah, what if there's a place people go live there? When are we gonna do? What do you expect me to do about it? Ain't nothing by it for it, let off. It's not to my senior, that's all. Stable, keep on it. You give us a fault, man. I don't care if you miss well played in the you come for me, nothing. Yeah, get up. It's so good that she's going back. Get up. Throw his old man gonna cancel. Hear me? Huh? Hey, you hear me? I think you got your hand caught in the machine. Now, if you don't tell nobody what happened, we ain't going to. But you just tell and try to get this guy can. Everybody will live. Got that? George, you give me a hand. Kenny, it's still. Machine.
How'd you get them bruises on your face? Yeah, you.
Hand card in the machine.
I want for this was one. I think the two the hall. And then it'll be 150.
A nice day.
All right. Yeah. I got a right to have a life. I ain't one of those bunkhouses. You ain't one of them hunters.
Why ain't you one?
Black.
You're lying. Come on in and sit a while.
He's an old man. Yes, he is.
Old boy is going to town. All the time. Candy, he just sat in the bunkhouse figuring about the rat. Rabbit, we got to get, and now I get the kids.
Around with you.
What if it's you? You can have it too. Me and George go everywhere together.
Sometimes he talks to you and you don't understand what the hell he's talking about. Ain't that so?
How long do you think it's gonna be before that puppy does not take away from his mother?
Oh, you be sure. Don't over. Talking. You don't understand. It don't make no difference if you don't hear listening to this. Food. George don't come back. Suppose George go into town. You never heard of it.
George was in San Bernardino.
She get hurt. She don't like me to come back.
Get killed. George. Yeah.
Suppose don't come back. What you do then?
Why? You doing anything?
See what happens. Take you to the booby hatch and then
Fuck no.
Last time I played a fucking deal was when she was like the third. Yeah.
I suppose you sit out chair with the mules and read books, say the good. Nice. But if I learned today, I learned languages to the right thing. Go right in. Yeah, I better go see. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm just come back home. Golf. Get a little place and then gravitate when you know. You want my phone? Come on in.
Button up your old coat and girl got mad at me after supper, broke coloring. That's so sick. I never so girl as and bust. You tell me, like, so bad. Yeah, right. Come down, going into town. And nobody's any good. Not hurry. That's so many.
Let's wait the water back. Be there before you know it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. What is it? That's the puppy. Cats actually have about everything.
I ain't gonna talk to you tonight.
Oh, my dad got a horseshoe tournament going on. And that guy's still leave. Why can't I talk to you? I never get to talk to nobody. Talk to you, but I can't talk to somebody about curling. He gets mad. How do you like not to talk to anybody? Oh, jeez, we got covered up.
He told me. George said you get people in the mess.
made summer myself. There's Venus, and I met one of the actors. Well, they wouldn't let me, but this guy said I could have. I went, and so it's my face. Maybe I was in the movies, had nice clothes. After I was an actor.
What? Would never know. So
Everybody likes that.
that'd be something that something I don't
Well,
I'm sorry.
Weird. You're fucking weird. Read the book. Shut up. Read the book.
Right, dude, because look at physical body, how to do that. Exactly.
Right in front of you, girl. That's running.
All this is.